Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This video series will cover topics related to ELT regardless of age and language proficiency level of the learners. Now the principles are applicable to all learning situations. However, as a teacher you may want to adapt the examples that I give to your students' age and or proficiency level. In this video, I will talk about fostering 21st century skills. This video will have altogether 4 parts. Now, let's cover the first part. Putting the technology aside, personally and frankly, I believe the 21st century skills are skills that any human being has at any time, regardless of the century, considering the fact that human beings are intellectual beings and they're always after innovations, trying to invent something to meet their needs. A long time ago, if you consider this fact, our ancestors invented fire, and they learned how to control it. They invented tools to make things, create artwork. They learned how to act collaboratively and cooperatively for hunting, for example, or for building shelter. All these required higher order thinking skills. So actually, the skills that I'm going to talk about are not 21st century skills. Again, if we put technology aside, they are skills that any human being needs at any time. In our modern world, we should teach and develop skills that are necessary for our learners to thrive both now and in future. We keep talking about thinking outside the box. Every now and then, don't you wonder why we put people in the box in the first place and then try to teach them to think outside of it? Well, I do. We try to shape people, sculpture them according to the accepted norms of the society, and then we want them to think differently. Well, we'll come back to this later. Kathleen Camper and Charles Villina assert that modern language classroom is more organic, more inquiry-based, and much more learner-centered. In the modern classroom, the skills of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication are the primary focus of learning and the means through which language fluency is built. Language fluency, in this context, refers to the student's ability to use English meaningfully, purposefully, and as a means to discover the world around them. Everything that contributes to self-exploration, inquiry, and discovery is welcome in this modern classroom setting. These can be analog resources, digital resources, realia, and most importantly, the student's own prior knowledge and experience that they can contribute to the learning process. The first aspect I want to talk about is inquisitive thinking, which is about questioning, seeking answers, demonstrating curiosity, wondering about things. As the teacher, you should model curiosity and being a wanderer. For example, you can utter sentences or statements like, I wonder why most cakes are round. What other food items are round? Why are they round? Or, I wonder where snow comes from. Where does it go? Or, I wonder how animals sleep. Do fish continue swimming while they're sleeping? Then, after this modeling stage, students are encouraged to ask their own questions. This wondering may require some language guidance from the teacher as students search for the right words. They may not have those necessary words and phrases in their vocabulary, especially if you're talking about beginner level learners, regardless of their age, because these learners have limited vocabulary. So even if they want to say something, they want to express themselves, they may not have the words that they require to express these concepts. When students start their own questions, wandering questions, there is a strong probability that they will also become curious and try to find the answers to these questions that they have just raised. This will definitely lead to opportunities to use English meaningfully and purposefully. In an inquiry-based classroom, students are expected to use their prior knowledge and experience, which is also known as schemata, to talk about what they already know or to contribute to the lesson with what they already know. For example, if I ask, what vehicles use flashing lights? Students are expected to use their prior knowledge, world knowledge, and experience to come up with certain answers. They may not know the vocabulary items, but you're there to help them. So if, for example, they begin with a police car because it's a true cognate, you can also help them with the other vocabulary like fire engine or truck or ambulance or tow trucks or construction vehicles or street sweepers, etc. Yes, they may need these words to come up with their answers, but they recall what they know, so the concepts are there, okay? And they also come up with the willingness to express what they know and willingness to contribute to the class. This is highly motivating, okay? The second aspect I want to talk about is critical thinking, which is about thinking more deeply and making sense of the information they have learned. Critical thinking tasks can be listed as comparing and contrasting or contrasting, listing and or ordering, and categorizing. So let's assume that we want to use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast. As you can see in the example, we have apple and peach. And as you can see, you have two sets and an overlapping area. In the apple section, they're going to write the properties of apple, and in the other circle, they're going to write the properties of a peach, and in the middle part where the circles overlap, they're going to write common shared properties. This is an excellent way of reconsidering, rethinking daily items that we always take for granted. We never question them, okay? But with such an activity, such a compare and contrast activity, we think more deeply about these everyday items. For listing and or ordering, you can, for example, give a bunch of animal names and ask your students to list or order them from the most dangerous to the least dangerous. Let's assume, for example, we have alligator, bear, spider, shark, wolf, horse, cow, tiger, deer, lion. Okay? Ask them to order these animals from the most dangerous to the least. And then you can always come up with extra questions to think them deeply. For example, cows. Are they more dangerous or less dangerous than lions? Why do you think so? Do you know how many people died because of cows? Do you know how many people died because of lions? You can always trigger their curiosity. For categorizing tasks, you may give them again a bunch of animal names and ask them to choose only endangered animals among those. Or you can play find the odd one out game with them. For example, you give them 5 words, 4 of which share a common property, 1 does not fit into that category. Cow, sheep, hen, monkey, horse. Let them think what the shared properties are or shared property is, and then find the animal which does not belong to this category. Again, you can keep questioning, saying, why? Why do you think monkey does not belong to this category? You may ask them to do these activities or tasks by themselves individually, or in pairs or small groups, which will increase student talk time and student engagement. It also increases cooperation and collaboration among learners. Another great way of enhancing your students' critical thinking skills is asking open-ended questions rather than yes-no questions. The suggested questions are for this: what, how, and why. For example, you can show a picture, a photograph, and ask your students to make predictions about what happened before the picture, what is happening in the picture at that time, what will happen in future after the picture, Then you may move on to further questions such as, how did that happen? Why did that happen? Why is it happening now? Why do you think that will happen in future? These questions always leading them to think in a deeper manner, in a deeper way. Let's assume you have this photo here, okay? You can say, okay, look at the photo. What happened? Because they can see the result of certain environmental factors and actions, and they can easily make predictions. What is happening now? What will happen in future? That kind of questioning. Why do you think there is a truck trying to shovel the snow? Why is it doing that? Why do we need that? That kind of questioning. So for both inquisitive thinking and critical thinking, the most important thing is to question your environment, the actions, the factors, the events, whatever, and try to come up with a deeper understanding, okay? Not sticking to the shallow explanation, shallow information that you're given. Well, that's all for this video. The second part of this video will be released soon. So please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos. Wish you all the best. Bye.